Hi, I'm Katie. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be taking you through a quick Pilates routine all about the hips. So we're going to mobilise, stretch and do some strengthening as well. So if you just start on your 4-point kneeling position, so bring yourself around, place your hands underneath your shoulders and then your knees underneath your hips, hip distance apart, parallel. Unfold your toes, press firmly into both hands and start to engage your abdominals, so drawing that belly button up in towards the spine, finding about a 30% level of engagement. And then we're going to start by taking the left leg out long to the side. So you want to keep your ankle in alignment with your hip here. And then we're just going to start to sink the hips back to the heel. So just easing back gently. You might be able to get yourself all the way back down to your heel, or you might be halfway depending on how tight your hips are, and then bring yourself back up. So we're going to inhale to ease back and then exhale to rise. So just a gentle movement, just starting to tune into any tightness that you might be feeling. Inhale to take it back and exhale to lift. We'll do a couple more like this. So really focusing on keeping that engagement in the core, finding your depth here, finding your max. And then we're going to hold down on the next one. So sinking as far back as you can. And then just hold here for a moment. So if you can sit all the way back onto your heel, really sink back and then lift yourself back up. So we're going to still work on this left leg. So just bring it back to its start position and press into the floor, engage the abdominals. In a bent position, we're going to take this leg up. So squeeze your left glute as you do, and then we're going to open out the hip and draw a big circle back round to the start position. But don't release the knee. Take it straight back up again. Open out and a big circle around. So we're really working into the mobility of the hip joint now. Open and big circle around. So as you're doing this movement, just being mindful about staying strong in the upper body. So keep pressing firmly, don't let yourself collapse. And then we're going to hold it up on the next one, and then we're going to reverse the movement. So drawing the knee back into its start position, then opening out as wide as you can, pause here for a moment, and then a big circle up and back. So abdominals stay engaged. Try to keep your neck in line with your spine, so avoid kind of letting your head sink down and your shoulders round. So we want to stay in that nice, strong, flat back position here. We're going to do one more after this. So drawing it up, open, big circle around. Lovely. And then just drop it down back to your 4-point kneeling position. We're going to do the same on the other side. I'm going to turn around so that you can see me. So back to your 4-point kneeling, and then take your right leg out long to the side. And then once again, we're going to start to sink the hips back to the heel. So with this kind of exercise, you can really see a difference if you have any tightness one side to the other, one side that might be more tight or weaker. Maybe you can sit back onto your heel on one side and you can't on the other. So just tune into how it feels in your body. Keep drawing in the abdominals. We'll do a couple more like this and then we'll hold it back. So take an inhale, and on your exhale, draw it back, sink your hips down in towards that heel. And then gently bring yourself back up. We're going to do those circles again. So drawing that right knee in, and then once again, finding your good form. And then taking that bent knee up, squeeze the glute to wake it up, open out to the side and circle around. And again, drawing it up, squeeze, open, big circle around. So we're moving quite slowly so that we can really focus on getting a big range of movement. So working right into the joint. Keep the abdominals engaged. Your core helps to keep you stable. And then hold it up and then draw it back down. Open out to the side, pause a moment, and then a big circle up and back. And again, inhale to open, exhale to circle around. I'll give you breathing cues throughout, so if you can, then please do follow along with them, but don't worry if you can't. Just keep breathing, don't hold your breath. We'll do one more like this. Open out and a big circle around, and then drop it down. So knees are back in their parallel position, toes are unfolded. We're just going to sit back onto the heels now and then really reach the hands forwards. So you can let your head drop down to the floor if you like, and just enjoy a little bit of a shoulder stretch while we're here. Take an inhale, and then we're going to lift the hips, shift the weight forwards, dropping the hips down towards the floor, and then opening the shoulders, squeeze the shoulder blades together, engage the abdominals. You're opening the chest. You can start to take your gaze up towards the ceiling. Inhale and exhale, lift yourself, take your hips back to the heels, release your head to the floor. Inhale, exhale to lift. And we're going to stay down on this one, so dropping the hips, opening those shoulders, squeeze them together. And then you're going to look over your right shoulder towards your right toes. And as you do, you need to really actively push the left hips out to the side to get a nice stretch through that left hip. And then come back to center, look over your left shoulder to your left toes and press that right hip out to the side. Back to center, inhale, abs engaged, look over the right shoulder. Back to center, look over the left shoulder. Back to center. We'll do one more on each side. Looking over the right, really press those hips out. Coming back to center, looking over the left. And then back to center, take an inhale, and on your exhale, lift yourself all the way back. And then coming back to your box position. We've got one more hip stretch here. So in your 4-point kneeling position, extend your right leg out long behind you, keeping your left knee in its position. And then you're just going to take your leg behind you. So you're kind of crossing behind, but you're keeping your hips square towards the floor. So your right toe is now kind of on a diagonal behind you. And then you're going to look over your left shoulder to that right toe. And as you do, I really want you to start to push your left hip to try and block your view. And then come back to center. We'll do the same on the other side. So bringing that leg back in, extend that left leg, cross it behind, and then look over your right shoulder. And then once again, try and push that hip out to the side, block your view. And then bring it back to center and release. Okay, so from here we are going to move into a little bit of strength work. So coming up into a kneeling position, knees are parallel. We're going to extend the right leg out long to the side. So you've got your hips square to the front still, and then drop your left hand down towards the floor. Wrist is directly underneath the shoulder. So you can either have your hand on your hip or you can extend up to the ceiling for a bit more of a balance challenge. Just going to let that leg float up. So we want to get it to about hip height and then start to slowly take it down, tap the floor, and then take it straight back up. So just a lift and lower, working into hip strength. But what we really want to focus on doing is not jerking the leg up or allowing it to collapse to the floor. So the movement is controlled throughout, start to finish. So we inhale to lift, pause and exhale to lower. Abdominals engaged. Inhale to lift. So we are actually still working into the obliques here as well while we're doing this movement. A lot more engaged, but it is mostly about the hip strength. And lower. So we're going to lift and hold on the next one. Hold here, and then little tiny pulses up and back for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release that leg down. Bring yourself up. Extend your arm up towards the ceiling, your left arm. Take an inhale, lengthen, and an exhale, stretch up and over. So we're not doing a lot of strength work today, but this kind of exercise just really helps to identify a weaker or stronger side. So we'll do exactly the same on the other side. So extending the left leg out long, the right knee stays underneath the right hip, right hand to the floor, wrist underneath the shoulder, and once again find a comfortable position. And then we're going to lift. Once again, just tuning in to the differences each side. Tap the floor and then take it back up. So we're trying to get to the same range of movement each time. So you might find that you do a couple that come really high and then start to fatigue and it starts to get lower and lower. So we're going to take it up and just pause for a moment as you reach your max and then control it back down. So keep those hips square to the front. Abs engaged. We've got 2 more. Last 2. And hold it up on this one. Little tiny pulses for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release that leg down, keep it long. Extend your right arm up towards the ceiling, reach. Inhale and exhale, stretch up and over. And then release. So moving around still in a kneeling position, we're going to come into a hip flexor stretch now. Really nice deep stretch for the hips. So bring your right foot in front of you. We'll just shuffle a moment just to find your correct alignment. So what we want, hips square in front of you, knee and ankle in alignment, and then that front foot pointing forwards. Then we're going to start to sink the hips down towards the floor. So we're thinking about staying nice and tall in the body, crown of the head drawing up, fingertips sinking down. Steady your breathing. So take a nice deep inhale to the count of 5. And then exhale to the equal count. So to relax the muscles, we need to relax the body. We can do that through nice controlled, deep, even breathing. As you're inhaling, thinking about expanding the rib cage out to the side, and as you exhale, drawing every drop of air out. Relax your shoulders. So what we don't want to do is to be starting to try and apply any pressure here. If you need to steady yourself with a bit of balance, use a wall or a chair or something, or yoga blocks if you have any. We'll take one more deep inhale, and on your exhale, see if you can sink a little bit further into the stretch. Abdominals stay engaged. And then slowly, gently release yourself out of the stretch. We'll do exactly the same thing on the other side. So left leg comes out in front. Find your alignment first of all. So the knee and the ankle in alignment, everything square, and then starting to draw down. Relaxed breathing. Nice deep inhale. And once again, you might find that it feels differently this side to the other side. Maybe you have a side that feels a bit more flexible than the other, a bit more tightness in one hip. Abdominals stay engaged. We'll have one more deep inhale and a deep exhale. And then gently bring yourself out of that. So we're just going to finish off on our backs now. So bring yourself down to a laying down position. And then just want you to take your legs up towards the ceiling. Hamstrings might restrict your legs being straight. They don't have to be. You're going to start to take your hands in between your legs, placing both hands on the soles of your feet, and then drawing down your knees towards your shoulders. So really opening out. This is a really deep hip stretch. So you're constantly applying the pressure, opening out. It's got a happy baby stretch. So we're just going to stay here for 2 breaths. And then gently release. Bring yourself up to a seated position. One last stretch before we finish. So bring the soles of the feet together, take them a little bit further away from you, take hold of your ankles, and then let your knees draw down towards the floor. So what we don't want to do is start rounding the back. So keep a nice length in the back. This is a butterfly stretch. We'll take 2 breaths here. And then gently release. Bring yourself back to a seated position. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe and leave me any feedback at all in the comments below. Thank you very much. See you soon.